phenomenal guests tonight from MetroTex and outside of MetroTex. So I'm going to start with Marky Lemons Ryle. Okay. And the only reason I remember that is because you just said dial and then Sherry said, rile it up. Let's go. Okay. So we're going to have a good time tonight with Marky. And then, of course, Sherry Fearbacher and Cindy Bass are chair and co-chair of professional development. And so we are talking all things about getting your broker's license. What does that entail? Because we have curated a phenomenal course here at MetroTex that actually won some state accolades, right, ladies?
All right.
Yes. So it was for best curriculum in the state of Texas, and I think for legal as well. And so it's a multi-part series about people that really want to get a little bit more information about what does it entail to be a broker. And I think there's just not a lot of information out there. And Sherry, I know you're vocal about this. So even if somebody walks away and says, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a broker. I'm going to be an independent agent and I'm going to stay with my phenomenal broker. Then it was a success. But we really wanted to take an opportunity and bring Marky in because truly so much about running a brokerage, whether it's a small independent or a franchise, is marketing. I mean, we always say we're marketers first, we're realtors second. And so that's one thing that I think people take for granted when they're looking about getting their broker's licenses. How are you going to implement that piece? And so, Marky, you are the expert in this field. In fact, we are so lucky to have you teaching 2 classes at MetroTex here very soon. I think one in May and one in June. And the first one is Kickbutt Social Realtor. And the next one is You Are Essential Now. I love both of those titles. So, Marky, would you just give us a little synopsis on both of those?
Yes, would love to. So when I started thinking about social media and technology, as we were discussing earlier, I'm no spring chicken, okay? And numerous years ago, I was at home on maternity leave with my youngest son. My children are 11 years apart, okay? So once you go back and you have this child 11 years later and they tell you you're high risk, first of all, you just start thinking old. And I was reading the 2006 profile of buyers and sellers from the National Association of Realtors. And I even include this in the class. And people have stated, Marky, you want that old chart? Yes, I do, because this is when I changed my mind. It showed me that in 1995, 2% of buyers were utilizing the internet as an information source. But when I was looking at it in 2006, that number was 80%. So I pulled out my fingers and I started counting. I'm like, ooh, that's a 78% increase. I haven't seen anything that has had a 78% increase. Maybe I should start using social media and technology. So our very first class is going to be Kickbutt Social Realtor, because realtors often complain about not knowing what to talk about. Now, I have my own set of rules and regulations, and I'm not going to say that everybody should just do what I say do, but I do have a rationale behind everything. I believe that every single real estate professional should create 60 minutes of video content Monday through Friday. Did I say 60 minutes? Sorry, 60 seconds. 60
okay, that's better.
Seconds. 1 minute of video content. I know they was like, oh, she already crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I misspoke. So 60 seconds of video content Monday through Friday. The reason is 1 minute of video content is equivalent to 1.8 million words. So what we're going to talk about in the class is you creating content. Now, here's what I don't think you should do. Everyone wants to outsource their social media. What I believe you should do is you should create video and outsource video. The benefit to you as a realtor member is that your face and your voice will be attached to every piece of content, to the point that when I leave my house, my husband and my children hate to go anywhere with me because I am a social butterfly. I stop even in the midst of a pandemic and I'm going to socialize. But here's what they hate today. Because I've created so much video content, people stop me and I can have on a baseball cap and a mask, because if they hear my voice now, they know my voice because it is attached to a podcast and audiograms and also to the video. So we're going to talk about Kickbutt. I'm going to give you a bunch of free tools that you can use in order to create 52 weeks of content that's going to be relevant to your sphere of influence, and you won't look like every other realtor. I'm all about being a thought leader. I'm all about owning your space and the fact that this is the no excuse zone. And then we're going to talk about how to create video content. And we were joking when we started today, right? But I tell everybody, your device needs to always be at eye level, because there's nothing cute going on down here in this neck or this chin area. Nothing cute is
Sherry,
going on.
I might have thrown you under the bus because I was telling her that we were propping you up with a laptop proper, but that's what you do if you're going to do it correctly.
Well, here's the thing. If we don't like how we look, then I want us to position ourselves in the absolute best light. So we talk about that in You Are Essential Now. And what I want to encourage your members to do, because I believe in being a leader in whatever space you're going to be in, leaders show up camera on, light ready. You don't ever want to be the person on the fourth page of a Zoom meeting. No one comes to the fourth page to see who's hanging out. You want to be prominently displayed on the first page. And people who show up and turn their cameras on and have that light ready are on page 1. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, guys, in those 2 classes, but I need you to sign up for class right now. We're going to do 2 sessions, 1 in each month. I teach class from the concept of seek first to understand. And guess what? I am not going to preach theory to you. I actively engage with social media and technology every single day. And it is one of the reasons I have 13 streams of income, all from real estate.
Well, Marky, that is pretty impressive. In fact, I think your sweatshirt might be one of them.
Oh, the sweatshirt's one of them. Let me say this. The signage is one of them. I have a collaboration with All Things Real Estate. Now, the pom-poms are not one of them, but of course, they're branded with my colors.
I like it. Hey, Marky, you have the same colors that Sherry and I have in our brand. So, we should do a across the globe collaboration maybe, or something else like that. So, but no, I think that's what's amazing, because so many times we look at it very surface level when we're, like you said, preaching from theory instead of application. And I think that's the hard part, is people are disgruntled of taking classes that aren't practical, that aren't relevant, and they're not doing it in an everyday sense. That might have been good 20 years ago, but just like that statistic that you sprouted, that was 78% swing in a pretty short amount of time. So, it sounds like between the broker series and Marky, what you're doing, I think this is a great hybrid that we're able to bring to our members. And so, talking about the broker series for just a second, Sherry and Cindy, you guys were pretty instrumental in making that happen. This was something that was a goal for a few years, and finally we were able to kind of dig in and get this curated prior to COVID, luckily, because it wasn't just you guys. There were several other people that were instrumental in getting this done. And I know our great behind the scene wizard is actually going to display those other names here in the chat here in a second. But being that you guys were a part of curating this series, Cindy, let's start off with you first. What was something that you really sunk your teeth into from your perspective? Because you're an independent broker in North Texas. And so you've got firsthand knowledge, not only from the broker seat, but being a small independent broker. And I'm sure this type of information would have been crucial for you when you wanted to spread your wings. So what did you bring to the table, and what's something that you think is great for people to be able to learn through this course?
So understanding what E&O insurance is all about. I mean, I heard it when I was, underneath a broker, how important it is, but I really was like, why is it important? What does it really cover? Why does somebody need it? So, getting down into the nitty gritty and knowing that little slips every now and then can really get us into deep trouble. And so we need to have that, coverage. And then with all of the different cybersecurity writers that are out there, we needed to understand why. And so I didn't know that. And so I think having that a part of this broker series is very informative to those agents that are looking to become brokers, or even brokers that are out there and they think, I don't need the errors and omissions. They really need to, be a part of the series, understand what that looks like, and then the onboarding of agents. The other thing is, why did I want to become an agent? And so the series kind of brings some of that information in. And I could go on because there's a lot of things that I didn't know. I just knew I wanted to take my business to the next level, didn't know what that looked like. And so I think that Metro Tex has taken that and embraced that to help agents who are out there that are possibly looking to become brokers. And they touch on a lot of the different aspects of what that looks like. And Sherry can, kind of tell what else there is out there, because I could just list on and on of all the different things that we talk about, in the series. And I think there's 6 days of it. And with that 6 days, there's a lot in there that, will help everybody see, even if you don't want to become a broker and you want to know what your broker should be doing or is doing, come take these courses.
So 6 days, and Sherry's probably going to say that's still not enough, because I know her well. She is actually the broker of my firm, which I am a co-owner of, and she's also my mother. And I've heard this for going on 2 decades now. So Sherry, enlighten us as to some of the exciting things, but also the pitfalls that you were really excited to contribute in this series.
Well, as Cindy brought up, that's why Cindy and I connected so quickly. We love, we call it nerding out. Gary Nordling will jump on that, but we loved the technical aspects of it. We love the compliance aspect of it. The parts that agents don't typically want to deal with, because they have a different personality, a different mindset. They're the rainmakers, and I get all of that. I too was one for many, many years, until the teaching and managing bug bit me. And it was just a nice segue into ownership, brokerage. But it goes so much deeper as a broker, especially if you are sponsoring anyone, and all the things that you're required to not only provide, but what you should do for an agent, and your standard operating procedure, and making sure that you're sending your agents out there with the best tools possible, whether it be social media. And not every broker is going to say, I can teach social media in my own office. Great, then find someone like Marky to teach that. Know what you know and know what you don't know. Because if you don't know it, somebody else does. And just find that person. I did. She's the blonde up in the corner. But that's the thing is we dealt with everything in there. We have a technology piece. Like Cindy said, we have the recruiting and retention piece. We have the compliance piece. We get so far into it. Cindy and I laughed. They handed us one component they handed us to do was, can you have alcohol? And we're like, we're two Baptist old fuddy-duds, and you're giving us the alcohol piece? But you don't think
Sherry,
of that.
can you have alcohol?
Rude.
Oh, and gun control too. Remember, they asked us if we need to have policies on gun control or carrying guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a new, like Marky said, looking at those statistics from 90, was it 96?
It was in the 2006, but they went back to 95.
95 to 2006. Things have changed in the world today. So yes, guns, personal protection. Now personal protection to some people means a mask and gloves, so everything, we tried to break it down with, you saw scrolling across there, all the different people that were absolutely essential in putting this course together. We couldn't have done it without everybody on there, but it's a lot more than sitting back and collecting your piece of the commission check for the agents going out. So again, if you come through the courses and you say, Now I feel so much more prepared. I'm ready. Great. If you leave those courses and say, no, I'm going to start calling on my sphere of influence. I want to go back in the field. I don't want to do this. Great. We did our job.
No, and that's phenomenal. So let's tie it back in, because so much has changed since you guys did this course. We went full virtual for about a year, and Marky,
Yeah.
we were even doing a dry run here a few minutes before, trying to get the tech, and you're like, I've been doing multiple Zooms today, so my camera doesn't want to connect and all of these other things. And that actually has been, evolved and obliterated some of probably the content in the broker series that we need to, beef that up. But Marky's here, and we have her for 2 classes, so we're going to utilize her as far as that goes. So Marky, speaking from experience, Sherry and I collaborating, and then of course Cindy too. She's a trusted referral partner because we're not in the same marketplace, and a small indie brokerage. Social media and video, or getting people to do it and understand it, is like the Achilles heel for any manager, broker, anything else, because people will sit there and say, I don't like how I look. I need to lose 15 pounds. I don't like how I sound. What am I going to say? People don't want to talk to me. But the hysterical part is, your clients see you in person. They have to talk to you when you're showing a house. They know how much you weigh because they actually see you from head to toe. So those aren't acceptable excuses to me. They just don't want to actually put it out there for everybody else to see. So, I kind of want to start off with that. How do you get people out of their shell through your courses and through your teaching to just feel inclined to say, hey, I've got the power and I've got the voice to come out here and do that? How do you switch that mindset?
Well, first of all, I provide the social proof. So if I was actually there with you, you would quickly realize I am the shortest, darkest, roundest person in the room with the least amount of hair. And that's pretty much in every single room that I go in. And I don't say that. I never said I was ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm cute, but I'm the shortest, darkest, roundest person with the least amount of hair. And I create video content every single day. You got to have all of them. You got to have them all. So I create video content every single day because people do not care about how I look. They want me to solve their buying and selling problems. And so I use that as an example all the time. The second example that I'm recently have the ability to add is the fact that my son is 24, and the fact that I had him to do a Facebook Live video where he interviewed someone. All he had to do was ask good questions, and that's all that he did, okay? Because he had only been a realtor 48 hours when he conducted this interview, and he generated 61 leads. Now, I do not want my 24-year-old son coming in and taking market share, but there's a quote I use all the time. Technology will never replace a realtor, but a realtor with technology will replace one without technology. Mm-hmm. And so I'm encouraging everyone to get over the fear of how you think, you look, and you sound, because people don't care about that. And earlier today, we were with the Women's Council. There's a filter in every single app. If you don't like how you look, put a filter on it. And this is the no excuse zone. So I was just telling them, I said, look, my son came in here. He needed some pictures in order to put on the marketing piece that generated him to 61 leads. He's like, oh, I haven't been to the barber shop. I'm like, get a brush, comb your beard, comb your hair, put a shirt and a blazer on. He came up in here. He had on like his boxer shorts. He sat in this chair. I took a picture of him. I cropped out the background, and we slapped the picture on the marketing and the advertising. This is the no excuse zone.
Amen.
And there are too many free tools. Like, we do all of this. Most of the stuff I do is for free, which is why I operate my business at a 65% profitability, because I am leveraging freemium tools to give me a premium look. And as I told people, I'm going to keep on bragging on that number, because that number is going to change in a few months, because in order to grow, I'm going to have to invest more money. But I did all of this and grew all these different streams of income because I was forced to come home. Here's what else is crazy. I have been gainfully unemployed from my primary source of income ever since Friday, March the 13th, 2020. Because I'm a real estate keynote speaker. That's my primary source of income. I have not been to a face-to-face event in over a year. But
Yeah.
yes, we do have 303 agents, and I recruited 21 of them. That's a source of income. I'm grandfathered in at another company from years ago. I get a little money from them every single month. I got publications. I get money from them every single month. I get money from Marquis Merch. But the reason I'm able to do that is because I embrace social media and technology and video. So I'm leading with that video every single day. And when I pick up the phone and I call my politicians as a state legislative contact, they know who Marky Lemons is. So I'm hanging out where they hang out and they have to do video. So I need to be where they are. So when I need to slide into the DM to ask for a favor, they're going to know me because I showed up with my camera on, light ready.
Hold on, Sherry. You know what DM is? Sliding into it. I just want to make sure.
It's going down in the DM. It's going down in the DM. Now, I'm slick with my mouth, but I want y'all to know that I'm Baptist too, and I'm a PK, but I'm real slick with the mouth. Just
Well, down in the DM, I mean, I've always just I hear people say it, and I go, that's on the down low. I don't know.
No, direct messaging.
Message.
I get it.
Thank you for not asking me, Ashley, because I didn't know either, Sherry.
DM is not DM. It's two different.
Here.
That's the down low.
Cindy, high five me over here.
But let me just say this. What's funny? Sometimes the down low does go down in the DM, though. I just need you to know that.
Yes. So she's been watching too many shows, Marky. That's what's happening there. But that's the biggest thing. And so, a lot of people, you said this, outsourcing their content. That's the first thing. They think they need to find a young person who is in high school or college or somebody else and say, okay, come over here and do my social media content for me. But why is that wrong? I mean, I have a million things I can talk about, but you're the expert. So why is that the wrong strategy?
Because you give up your voice, because you aren't the face and you aren't the audio of the content. So I'm not opposed to outsourcing. I think that you should create video, and you should send it and let someone edit it and do whatever they do well with it. But you want to be a part, because people do business with people who they know, like, and they trust. So I'm not saying don't outsource it. I'm telling you, you should outsource it. But I'm telling you, you should outsource video, because now from every video I create, I also have a podcast. I have audiograms. I have blog posts. I have email marketing. I have photo quotes. So I'm taking one piece of video content and I'm breaking it down into up to 20 different forms of content. Video is the only form of content that you can repurpose without recreating it, and it is still 100% on brand to you. You.
And that's phenomenal. And I like the freemium. I'm gonna steal that if that's okay. Because
that's fine.
Sherry gives me pushback, I'm like, but it's freemium. Marky said, I'm like, it's freemium. So freemium. Yes. So, but I mean, I want to talk about some of the tools that people can use and start to get oriented with, because you talked about Katie Lance, who has a Facebook group. There's a lot of different tools out there where people have monetized by creating Facebook groups and coaching programs, but they started as free. And so as long as you implement, you can use free, just like Sherry did with Brian Buffini all these years ago, went to the free stuff without doing it and said, as long as you implement, you can do it. You don't have to be the one that you can do it on the freemium. And so there's different things. We use Canva. So we do have the premium content. So that's like $11 a month, I think. So I know we're big ballers and everything. But when you were sitting there and talking about taking the picture in the chair, I'm like, well, I mean, you can either use like the BG remover online, which is free, or Canva now has it in their own. So you can upload the picture, press the button, it's in the graphic. And so you can still use Canva for free for all of your stuff. And then BombBomb, which is not for free, is probably my favorite tool of anything that I have. I mean, talking about, and Sherry's finally on board with all of this because I always send her, I send her my BombBomb videos. But I copy her on it. But when we did go into lockdown and things changed, that was my way that people could still hear me and see me, and I could still be an advocate for my sphere of influence. And I think, Marky, that's what you've been saying, and people don't realize how important that is. We have homestead exemptions in the state of Texas. So instead of sending a piece of paper in a manila envelope and saying, here's how you apply for your homestead, I do a video for every single person. I can also see them open it, play it, do everything else. So I can see my ROI on the time I'm spending, on top of it. So BombBomb and Canva are my two favorite platforms to utilize. What are some other ones, whether they're paid or not paid, that you can give us a little teaser on?
Well, I'm going to give you a teaser on some things just to build the credibility, because I really want you to come to class. So one thing that I'm doing right now is I absolutely love Zoom, but I'm using a tool where I plug into Zoom called Restream. Now, the reason I'm using Restream is because I am a Amazon Live creator. I have my own QVC over on Amazon, and I interview only real estate authors about their books that are over on Amazon. So for me, the reason I love this combination of tools is, one, because I'm making money, but also because I'm able to now take that Zoom video and stream it to multiple locations on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube Live, and to Amazon Live all at the same time. I do pay for Restream, but it's worth it because I can pin comments, I can add a call to action, I have a countdown timer, all of that. But let me tell you why I love Canva. The ability today to monetize the Canva account. So the joy that I'm having, and here would be an example. We have a graphic designer in our office and 303 agents. So every agent would want their photo, their name, whatever the case may be. Our graphic designer now uses Canva exclusively. She sends the template out to every agent in our company, and that person just goes in and swaps out their logo, their name. But if you were to go over to Etsy right now, there are numerous people making money off of us in the world of real estate, and it's simply with a Canva template. So the ability to monetize Canva for real estate only forms, spreadsheets, and marketing exists right now because of the update to Canva. So I do pay for Canva because I provide a lot of templates. The remove.bg tool that you were saying, if you don't want to pay for it, definitely use that tool. And I'll give you an example of a system, because I don't think I'm going to talk about it in these classes. If I do, I'll give a different example. I decided to go back to the beginning. And back in the beginning, when we were using social media and technology, we were going over to use google.com/trends to see what people were talking about. So a couple of weeks ago, I decided to do that, and I realized that the word contingency has increased 150%. So that means buyers and sellers are searching because we're not doing a good job of explaining it to them. So I took that term. And think about it. Pretty much every blank on the contract can create a contingency, right? And so, or think about all the finance terms, every last one of them. So I went over to another free tool called answerthepublic.com, and I typed in contingent real estate, and it gave me 311 different things that people had searched for. So now I can take any one of the 311 and I can make it hyperlocal, right? So I could do contingent. What does contingent financing mean in Chicago? Or I could even get more specific to the community. And then we know we got Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, 203K, non-bankable loans or hard money lenders, all of that great stuff, right? So now I have all of these contingent subjects that I can talk about in these quick videos, and it is what people are searching for. So everything for me is a system. And not only is it a system, I need to repurpose that content and distribute it to as many channels as humanly possible with a set amount of time. So I use social media and technology 1 hour per day. And I use it because I believe everybody should have a power hour for lead generation.
Yep.
I'm adding up to 4,000 contacts per year to my customer relationship management system, all from social media. And 9 times out of 10, it's a free tool, which is why my company is so profitable. So we're going to go into more detail in class.
I know, no, I mean, that's phenomenal. But you know what? You're speaking the love language of a Cindy Bass and a Sherry Fearbacher, because if you can connect the dots into systems and policies and procedures, then people like Sherry and Cindy, who did not grow up, and neither did you, Marky, with a computer in your house or different technology or social media, can start to change the way their brain thinks. And while this might be newfangled or something that we're not used to, it's something that still derives from our normal operating procedure. And I think that's the difference. Remove the scare tactics, make it achievable and approachable, which is what we're doing with Real Talk right now. It doesn't have to be super scary to be on video. We've had so many people have said, I've never done video before. It's okay. It's fun. Just get on there and be yourself. And that's what people want to see. So we want to be respectful of your time. And so we're actually going to post the information for your classes here in the chat. And we hope that MetroTechs and non-MetroTech members will sign up for your class, because it's open to all realtors. Yes. Come on. Yes. And I think it's free. So it's freemium. I know MetroTechs provides so much value to our members. It's a freemium. So,
but you know what? I did want to say something in regards to the compliance piece, because I think some of us have been in the business for multiple decades. If we were to go back 20 years ago, there was a time where every agent would come into the office, they would meet with their broker, managing broker of record, and we would sit down and physically look at their marketing, right? And then we would pull out our marker, we would mark it up. No, you need to add this. No, take that out. Oh, you thought you could say that? Absolutely not. No one today is going to sit down with their broker to discuss their marketing. They're all posting whatever they want to post in real time. And oftentimes from a compliance issue, that is the problem. Yep. And I don't know how we put a check and balance in place that, first of all, if you don't have spell check, you shouldn't just post, right? But more importantly, can we lay some eyes on some of this stuff that they're posting? And I know it's a problem based on the amount of agents we have. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, we got to fix this. We got to document the problem and we have to fix it.
Yep.
Thank you, ladies, for having me tonight.
I know. This was such
great.
It was a pleasure. You're a pleasure. Sherry, Cindy, I'm going to expect you to be in attendance at Marky's class with me.
I'm a DM you, Marky. I'm a DM you.
Oh, she's gonna slide into your DMs. Be careful. It might be aggressive because she doesn't know how to do it, but it's okay.
Slamming into it instead of sliding.
Yeah, she's gonna slam. There's no sliding. There's slamming. So but it's okay. We got it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna see you soon, Marky. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
See you later.
All right. Oh, good. Because I wasn't good on vertical. I don't know about you ladies. No. How great was that? I mean, to be able to bring that in to the broker series piece, Cindy, Sherry, chime in on that and just give me a little bit about how you think that's going to go in culmination with what we're doing on the broker side.
Well, I'll speak on that part. Are we having an echo?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I'm like,
I just make sure you get that information.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Are we good?
We're gonna try.
Better. Okay. I think we're good now. Can I hear you, Sherry?
I'm still
Good.
is
Yeah.
it me?
Nope, it's all good now. But we can't hear
hear
Ashley.
Ashley.
Well, one of the things I'll go ahead that I loved that she said that some of our agents and even those who are seeking to become brokers, but Murky said it perfectly. We have to invest in order to reap and be profitable. So don't be afraid, but you have to be smart about it.
Yes. Well, and I speaking for someone that's not, I don't know if this came through during that conversation, that I'm not overly technical or comfortable with the DMs. I thought it was that little piece between North and South Korea for a minute we were talking about. Anyway.
I thought Detroit, Michigan.
Who knew? But she has a personality style that I could absolutely listen to and learn from, because if you're out there saying, and that's what we did with the broker series, and our instructors that are teaching this are phenomenal, and that's the whole point. We can have great content, but if we don't deliver it in a way that can be consumed by an agent or a future broker or a current broker or what have you, it went to waste. And I think her delivery was something that everybody could get into. And it just being able to talk to her this little bit was exciting. I mean, I got stuff.
I did. I have a whole list going here. And I think that's the important part, that we do take those gold nuggets or the ahas, that we have. That
absolutely.
We can turn around and implement. No, Ashley, we still can't hear you.
But so what we're going to do is we're just going to keep talking about how fun the broker series is, and how exciting. This is great. I've been trying to get rid of her forever and just have our own show. So how we did it, I don't know. But anyway, but some of the instructors we talked about, we've got Lori Selecki, we've got Marian Napolitano, we've got the great Cindy Bass. Some of you kind of get used to their styles because they've been teaching quite a bit at Metrotex, including yourself, and some of their stuff. Is she back?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Darn, Sherry. No, stop talking about her.
Cindy, you're now on the top of the pyramid, so it's all good.
We were literally just mentioning some of the instructors that helped create the content, and this was a collaborative effort. No one was at the head of the food chain on this one. This was literally a boardroom table where subjects were being hurled at each other from across. We need to deal with this, and we need to talk about that, and who's willing to take up that subject, and who's willing to take up that subject. So no one person or two people actually ran that brainstorming. It was absolutely fantastic. And what I think everyone in that room would walk away with is we all learned something, because each one of us dove really deep into subject matter that was a passion for us to bring back to the group. And I think even as experienced brokers who are also instructors, I think we all learned from building the series. Why wouldn't you think you would learn something in taking it?
Well, here's the sad part. Obviously, the youngest, but not by much, ladies. Okay. The youngest person has had the technological issues tonight. I had to drop out. I can't see the chat right now. So I did bring in my phone because I thought, gosh, we are boring. Nobody is posting in the comments tonight. And I had a little ego problem there for a second. And now that I bring it up on my phone, we've been ignoring all of our fans as this has been going on. So that's okay. But yes, I was telling all of our secrets there for a second. Chuck Fleischer, what's the tool Marky was? Okay, Restream. So I think Dustin from Metrotex actually put that in there. What a great nugget if she's not talking about that in her class, but to use that to be able to splice video content, because that's the key. Nobody wants to sit there and do a social graphic and then a podcast and then a video. I mean, it drags you down. But if you can sit there and do video and then you actually pull out the audio clips and then make it with the freeze frame and putting it into some sort of graphic content, it's huge. So Restream is what she uses on that side. We just got a lot of hearts and love y'alls and everything else. So I'm really sorry that we weren't giving you guys a shout out while I know hearts, Cindy, so it's all good. Sherry's like, my heart shrinks. Sherry has a tiny heart like the Grinch, so it's fine. No. So she's actually quite lovable, because I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. My daughter actually had a tonsillectomy yesterday, and Sherry, obviously being the wonderful grandmother that she is, stayed at the hospital all day, and she was at my house most of today, and so we're probably both a little on edge that we're not sitting there taking care of our little girl, but she does not have a tiny heart. It's a big heart. She shows it in a different way. So, yeah, don't get real close into the screen. So it's fine. But going back into the broker series. So let's talk about it. I'm super excited that we're bringing this to Metrotex. It's okay, Cindy. It was like so there's 6 days you guys were talking about, because it's broken into different categories, and I'm not going to put you on the spot to talk about each and every category, but that's what's so important about the broker series, is the fact that it's not a 2-hour class. And you want it to be engaging and interactive and be able to go through all of those things. Cindy, you brought up E&O. And people go, what's E&O? Errors and omissions, because just like Marky was talking about, with 300 agents going out there and putting marketing out on social media and everything else, we have clear cooperation. We have a very aggressive marketplace across the nation right now. So there are going to be ethics violations that come from that, and other things. Errors and omissions are what make sure that we can continue to provide for our family, because if a lawsuit happens or something happens, that's the insurance policy that helps cover us. So the fact that, that is not gone over enough is a problem, which is why you guys brought it into this broker series. And we were joking about guns and alcohol and everything else, but that goes into it.
Yep.
Well, it's a big deal. We talked about one of the recruiting and retention. I have seen Marion go through some of that with that component of the series, talking about awards. And how are you going to, have your sales meetings? And are you going to do awards months? And are you going to do these? And are you going to do that? And what kind of parties? And we started talking about that and said, what's the liability to hold a great big party for your office and serve alcohol and someone gets in their car? And that's what we were talking about. And literally people on that table went, whoa, because just like you're not watching 300 agent social media every single moment, which you have to find a way to do it. Are you watching the car keys as they're walking out the door? And so things that we sat around as brokers and went, wow. And there is material out there, but we've collected that, and as a collective body, put it in a format that's chewable. So some of the courses, some of the series is 60-minute clips. And I think there are a couple that are, like you said, Ash, 2 hours. I think there are a couple that are 120 minutes. But what's great is it's strictly that subject matter. And so you leave every part of every component of the series, you leave having, I think, a wealth of knowledge on that particular subject matter.
Well, and the biggest thing is, a lot of people think like I said earlier, was I'm going to be a broker. I'm going to retain more of my commission. The big, bad, ugly broker, what mothership, whatever else is taking all my money. I'm going to go off on my own and I'm going to keep more of it. Cindy,
Right.
Sherry, can you speak on that a little bit by being business owners and independent brokerages yourself? What are the costs that kind of surprised you when you opened up your own shop?
Well, E&O insurance for one of them, the biggest one. Because you never know, when you are with somebody else, you don't always see the big bottom price. You see the little bit and you're thinking, no, it shouldn't be that bad. But then when you look at it and how they determine what that fee is, and it changes every year, so when you start out, it's one price. And then as you become more productive or you bring on additional agents, that becomes more productive. So that fee continues to increase. And then you have technology fees, you have to have your own website if that's the way you're going to go, your CRM. And then you have your own marketing. And what I realized is, we have to do that because we're independent agents anyway. And it is our own business that we have when we're under somebody. But you just kind of multiply it a little more because you're trying to reach more people. And it is now completely solely on you as a broker to do that. And then you have the educational opportunities that you have to continue to, grow in your own business so that you know what is going on.
No, those are all huge. And I think it's really hard because if you want to do it the right way, it costs money. And as you scale, like you were talking about, Cindy, because it's not just agent count. Are you going to do commercial? Are you going to start doing property management? All of these other layers that people don't think about. You can't just, I'm going to property manage that house and it's not a big deal. Have you talked to your E&O insurance provider to see if they're actually going to cover you if there's an issue on the property management side? And so those are all the things. Sherry and I have obviously gone through that. So that's from real life application. Just sitting there and saying, is it worth it to have a property management division? If we don't have an agent that is naturally wanting to do that as the bulk of their business, then we're going to prohibit our agents from doing that unless they go through the proper training. And this is going to be, a major sector because there's a cost associated with that. And I think that's what people don't think. They think, I'm going to save the 20% or my $24,000 cap or whatever it is in your broker structure. But guess what? You're going to pay that one way or another. So, Sherry, what's something else during this broker series that you kind of felt like it was an aha, whether it was with everybody else contributing or kind of going through and saying, I don't think people really understand this until they get into the crux of being a broker themselves?
Really, one aha I wanted to bring out, because even just as Cindy was talking, to be able to collaborate with other professionals at MetroTex is huge. And if you've never been in another environment, you don't know what we have, but I'm proud of our professional development committee and people collaborating for the greater good. One of the things you talked about earlier when Marky was still on is it's great that we have all these courses, but if they're not current, that doesn't do anything for our agents, right? Just for them to get a few hours, I mean, that's silly. So, the professional development is looking at the entire curriculum that we offer, because it's so important that we do continuing education for our members. That being said, that's a huge part of being a broker, is the continuing education for your agents. Every time there's a contract change, every time there's a new form, every time there's some trend coming down the pipe, every time there's, hey, I don't know about you, Cindy, but I review all the reprimands and the lawsuits that are going on because I want to see if there's a trend where agents are falling into something. Well, so-and-so did it, so I thought it was okay. I want to make sure we're on top of those things. And so it's constant. It's not mailbox money. It's absolutely not mailbox money. And so you are responsible. And if you don't think so, let them go. Let them go and be as free as a bird and do anything they want to do, because at the end of the day, you will get tapped. You will get the letter in the mail. You will get the phone call. And so that's really big. And then again, through the course of, you know, how are you going to do it? Are you going to have a split where it's, you know, whatever your splits are they going to come in at a certain split and stay there forever? Are you going to have a graduating, you know, split as the production changes? Are you going to do a cap? Are you not going to do a cap? Are you going to have desk fees? Are you not going to have desk fees? There is so much involved if you're going to bring on agents to sponsor. Now, if you want to get your broker's license and you want to hang that shield out and you just want to be a one-man show, that's completely different. But the minute you sponsor one agent, there is so much to learn. There is so much to decide upon. And really and truly, in all these years, none of us could find any resource with it all put together like this. There was no, I'm going to go to the library and get the book that says how to become a broker and what to look for. It just wasn't there. How to get your license, yes. And not that there weren't courses out there so you could get your license, your broker's license, but nothing with this complete package. And I think that's why everyone was so gratified when we did win the awards this year.
2 awards, mind you. I wasn't a part of it, but it was 2 awards. Yes. It's fantastic. But that's huge. And talking about sponsoring agents, Chuck said, gotta run, meeting my wife for dinner, but thank you so much. Thank you, Chuck. See, I finally get to engage somebody tonight. This has been, it's so hard. With the
Sherry, she's not engaging with us.
I'm not engaging. No, but you know, that's the thing. If you're going to do it, if you're going to be an independent broker and just your own and not sponsor agents, that's one thing. But the minute you sponsor one agent, you are accountable like a parent. Mm-hmm. And don't get me on the parent situation, but on the broker situation, you know, as far as that goes, we have a responsibility. And so while social media and technology and integration of the technology and the adoption and the CRMs and everything else, while you sit there and you go, oh gosh, they can figure it out themselves. It's the crux of our business now. Just like Marky said, technology is not going to replace a realtor, but a realtor with technology will replace the others, you know? And so I might have butchered that, but it was close enough. So,
it was perfect.
But yes, close enough. But that's the point. As a broker, it's your responsibility to sit there and say, here's your independent agent kit. You know, here's your email, here's your CRM, here's your website, here's what I can do. I'm not an expert on this, but here are some great teachers. Here's some courses at MetroTex. Here are everything else. You can't mandate per se, but you don't have to sponsor everybody. And if you say, you know what, we encourage this and people don't behave or perform under those encouragements, it's okay to send your license back too at the same time. Because like Marky was saying, there's got to be a way to track it. There's 300 agents in her office and not all are behaving appropriately. Well, it's a reflection on the rest of the agents. And so we have to do a better job as owners and managers and brokers of creating a cohesive environment with some sort of accountability and systems in place. And then we have to have that continuing education that helps. And like, I think you said it, Cindy, maybe you don't want to become a broker, but you want to figure out what the heck does my broker actually do? Because I don't know if I'm spending my money wisely. Go and take the classes. You're going to go into what I call turtle mode, because you're going to go, no more. I'm not going to fight you on my commission split, on my cap, on my desk fee, whatever you do or charge, because there's so much that goes into it. And ultimately for an agent, they need to be going out there. And I use the old term of shaking hands and kissing babies like a politician, because they need to be building their sphere of influence and marketing. And if you're bogged down with all of these other things, you're not making money. So if you want to go and be a broker and open your own shop, have that desire to do it. I don't know about you, Cindy, but Sherry did. Her education and mentorship was really what she enjoyed to do. So for her, it was a natural transition into ownership. I loved producing, but I also loved kind of what Marky was doing. I'm like, I want different streams of income. I want to teach people how to do it. I want to do the marketing portion. I want to do the, how can we monetize this? And there's a need for both, so but both of our individual skill sets and desires went into this works for a brokerage. If we're just trying to keep more money in our pocket, let's go somewhere else. That wasn't going to be it. But Cindy, I'd love to hear, we have a couple minutes left. What drove you to want to go off on your own?
So kind of the same thing. I love helping agents. I love the educational aspect of it because it is so important, because ultimately we're here to help the consumers who transfer into our clients. And we can't do that if we're not educated, and having the right tools in place and getting the agents those tools and the knowledge and utilizing the contracts that are out there, the forms and everything that Texas Realtors, TREC has given to us, and knowing how to utilize it is so important to me that I want to give that to other agents. And then maybe keeping a little more, in our pockets is not the first thing. To me, it's the last thing, but it's getting the education out there for those agents to be able to help their clients get to where they need and not be afraid to be understanding what the liability is, to do it the correct way, but still not have that fear of helping somebody. Because sometimes we do put the fear in them, but that's not what we're not putting the fear in them. We're giving them the education that they need to do the things that they are doing correctly. So
that's great. Sherry?
And I would also say that as a broker, it's your responsibility, and I know Cindy believes this, to stay current with the marketplace. Because if you've been in it for a couple of decades, you've had a really fun time. And you have to shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market to no market, short sales, foreclosures. Oh my goodness. You have to at least be prepared to take your brokerage through the next type of market, because your agents don't necessarily know what that looks like, and they don't know how to pivot. So you've got to be the one looking at that and saying, we need to be prepared. So here's what we're going to start doing. And so your education continues, and your education has to continue out there in the marketplace, reading, going to conferences, listening to different podcasts of people you respect in the industry, and financial people and economists. So it's a big responsibility. It's very gratifying, but it's a big responsibility.
Well, and I can tell you, just summing it up, we've got about a minute left. For me, I'm still a producer, and I enjoy doing that. But man, is this market not filling my cup right now? And so being a part of MetroTex and doing things like this show and promote different educational pieces and conferences, people sit there and say, well, I'm too busy. I can tell you right now, above anything else, this is what's kept me sane, during this shift in this marketplace, to know that I have a Cindy Bass, that I have the amazing staff at MetroTex, that I have so many other amazing agents that are not my adversaries or my competitors. They're my friends in MetroTex, and to be able to go and say, gosh, I am dealing with this. Have you guys seen this in your dealings or in your transactions? And iron sharpens iron. So whether you're a broker or you're just an individual agent, level it up, because that's what we're doing here. We're doing it by the show. We're doing it by the education, but level it up. Create a larger sphere, not just of influence to sell real estate, but people that you can sit there and sometimes commiserate with, but then other times get energy from, because right now I need every drop of energy I can. this too shall pass. But I'm so blessed that we have people like you guys, Sherry and Cindy, the chair and vice chair of professional development that lead by example, and then Marky, who was obviously so amazing and invigorating, and coming back for 2 more classes.
Yes.
But you know what? Share this with your friends. Share this with different agents that maybe want to consider getting their broker's license. We've got the information in the chat that I can't visibly see because technology has not been my friend tonight. On the 2 classes, Kickbutt Social Realtor and You Are Essential Now with Marky, and then more information to come on the amazing broker series that these 2 women had an instrumental part in creating and winning multiple awards throughout the state. So Cindy, Sherry, thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Great. Okay. Well, get back to the rest of your evening, and we will see you guys soon. And don't forget to educate, invigorate, and let's go